Welcome in to this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly. I'm John Holder. This is your inside look at everything going on in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Coming up on this week's show, we'll check in with Associate Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, Alvin Briggs, as we talk about high school wrestling. Also coming up on this week's show, we'll check in with Assistant Director of Officials for the AHSAA, Ken Washington, as we talk about an outstanding officiating performance in the Etowah County Basketball Tournament. Also this week, bowling is on deck. We'll talk with Jacqueline Wynn, the head bowling coach at Stanhope Elmore High School in Millbrook. Also one of her top bowlers, Josh Wilson. And we're going to recognize some outstanding coaching and player performances in high school basketball around the state of Alabama. All that and more on this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Call a local company you can trust. AHSAA Foundation Solutions. We use the most advanced water management system to stop water from invading your basement for good. Things feeling a little uneven at home? AHSAA Foundation Solutions will fix your uneven concrete sidewalk, driveway, or basement in no time. AHSAA Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from AHSAA Foundations.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
Our corporate partners are the other team of the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Their contributions are the key for us to provide the championship play as well as our revenue sharing program. Without our corporate partners, we would not be able to provide all the services we do to our member schools.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at AHSAA Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills? AHSAA Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from AHSAA Foundations.
Back on this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly, we're going to take you now to Montgomery, to the offices of the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Associate Executive Director Alvin Briggs is standing by. He's in charge, so to speak, of wrestling, and the wrestling championships are coming down the pike here with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. We've got the Duels Championships taking place this weekend, beginning Friday night at the Birmingham Crossplex at the Bill Harris Arena. And we also have, coming up in just a couple of weeks, we'll have the actual championships, the traditional championships coming up. We'll talk all about that with Alvin. Alvin, welcome in. Glad to have you with us on this week's show.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Always fun to be with you, John.
Alvin, tell us about this duels format. This is something that just began about 4 years ago. Folks may not be familiar with the differences. Tell us about what this duels format's all about.
Well, our wrestling committee who have been asking for this dual format for several years, and so it's more of a tournament and it's more of a team championships where our traditional wrestling is individual based, and our traditional wrestling tournament started in 1956. But it just gives our schools another chance to feel a championship feel, to get ready for the crowds, get ready for everything associated with getting ready for championship play, which will happen on the second weekend in February.
Since we've gone to the duels format, Oxford has won all 3 years in Class 6A, ARAB 2 out of 3 in Classes 1A through 5A. But in Class 7A, there's been a lot of competition at the top. We've had Thompson, Vestavia Hills, Bob Jones, 3 different winners in 3 years. What does that say about the competition, especially at the 7A level in high school wrestling?
Well, I mean, overall, wrestling has improved in the state of Alabama immensely over the last 10 years. And, in our largest class, it just shows that how competitive it is and how much it means to them for this dual format. And the same thing with other classes. It goes down to the wire. We've had several different teams against Oxford, that wanted to go up against them in duels, and Oxford's they have a great coach, they have a great system. Same thing with AHSAA, so they get pushed to the limit, and those guys like this. But the things you got to understand about duels, that not every team that's in the state has to do the dual format. So that's why it's kind of like that. Most of our schools in 7A want to be a part of the duals format. But the other classes, not all the teams have to be a part of the duals format, because you have to have all 14 wrestlers in that, and a lot of our schools don't have those wrestlers in enough to do the duels. So that's why the parity in 7A is a little bit more closely than the other classes. But again, all the other classes don't compete in duels like we do in 7A. So I think the format's catching on. It's changing a little bit, but it's getting where we want to, and it's becoming a lot more and more exciting for our schools.
Alvin, how do you think this duals format, now in its 4th year, how do you think that's helped grow the sport of wrestling in Alabama?
Oh, it really has, because we've gotten more teams in the southwest and the southeast of our state, in the Mobile and Baldwin County area, and over toward the Dothan area. We've gotten a lot more teams. They see the growth. They want to be a part of the growth, and for a lot of our schools, is another way for more students to be involved, and that's been a great thing for us.
Alvin, we talked about the traditional championships. That dates all the way back to 1956. Those are coming up in a couple of weeks. Tell us about the traditional championships in wrestling.
Yeah, we're coming up on our super sectionals the weekend of the 7th and 8th of February. And, that's a format where we have all the teams in the South go to Montgomery for our super section, and all the teams in the North go to Birmingham for that super sectional. And it is ramping up. We're getting ready to, that's more of our individual titles. And that's what a lot of schools are getting ramped up for and getting fired up for, and that's what we're looking for. And then the following week we'll have our state championships in Huntsville, and it's a format that we all love, especially our member schools. And you're talking about 2, 3 different complexes here in Montgomery, Birmingham, and Huntsville that would be filled to capacity and cheering on individual wrestlers, and communities and families coming and spending a day and 2 days watching a lot of wrestling.
Alvin, you've got a busy month coming up, not only wrestling, which you're in charge of, but indoor track as well, not to mention bowling and basketball championships, all coming up within the next month or so. You've got a busy time coming up in the next 30 or 35 days.
Yeah, we do. This is our winter championships. I was just on a conference call with Coach Savarese, and we were telling someone about our winter championships. We're getting ready to get down to all that. We have bowling state championships that'll be this week in Birmingham, and we have our duals championship, and then the following week we do have our indoor state championships there at the Birmingham Crossplex. The same weekend as sectional wrestling. So I have on, and a lot of us have on 2 or 3 hats the next couple of weeks, and along with our area basketball tournaments. Who will be starting here pretty soon with sub-regional and super regional basketball, and our format with that, which is very large, and culminating with the state championship for boys and girls at the end of the month in Birmingham, which is so exciting. We have close to 60,000 people that come to our basketball championships for 6 different days. So that's very exciting. You can pay one price and see a lot of basketball in one day.
Alvin, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us and update us on these championships that are taking place coming over the next month or so. And thank you for being with us on the show this week.
Oh, it's an exciting time. I appreciate it, John. I look forward to seeing you at a lot of our championships down the road.
Absolutely. Alvin Briggs, Associate Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, joining us from Montgomery this week on the AHSAA Weekly.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Did you know that suicide is the second leading cause of death for ages 10 to 24? It is also one of the leading causes of preventable death in our nation. It is time we all start to talk more about youth suicide and how we can change these statistics. My name is Nick Saban, head football coach at the University of Alabama, and I'm working with the Jason Foundation and the AHSAA to address this serious national health issue. Visit jasonfoundation.com to learn what you can do to help prevent youth suicide.
Without our contest officials, we would have no contest. I truly encourage our parents to be a shining example of sportsmanship regarding our contest officials and setting an example for everyone, as well as coaches and fans across this state, to treat our officials with respect.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Call a local company you can trust. Ox Foundation Solutions. We use the most advanced water management system to stop water from invading your basement for good. Things feeling a little uneven at home? Ox Foundation Solutions will fix your uneven concrete sidewalk, driveway, or basement in no time. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
This is the AHSAA Weekly. John Holder back with you once again. We're going to take you to Montgomery to the High School Athletic Association offices. The Assistant Director for Officials for the Alabama High School Athletic Association, Ken Washington, is with us this weekend. Ken, we're going to do something a little different this week. We want to throw some recognition. We hear a lot of times we hear about officials and what sometimes there's a negativity put to that. But we're going to put a really positive report out there because this past week we had the Etowah County Tournament Championship and played up in North Alabama and up in Northeast Alabama. The championship game featured Sardis and Southside in the boys championship. They bring in outside officials to do the tournament, and they had the Jeffco Officials Association from the Jefferson County area that came up I-59 to do the championship. And Ken, we understand they did a phenomenal job. Tell us about that.
They did an outstanding job. We only got positive reports about the game. I was so proud of those women that refereed the game. Janice Jordan, who's been officiating for about 30 plus years, great personality, hard worker, knows the game. She played it. And then also Natasha Brown, she's going into her 9th season. And she's been really hungry lately, just been involved in all the summer training. She's taken all the quizzes, so as the other ladies, and all the education stuff that goes along with it. They're really eager to learn and want to get better. And Aljanice is the youngest of the three. The girl got a big upside to herself. She played at A&M. If I'm correct, she was a very good player. She understands the game, and she loves what she does. And this past summer, she had a big year in officiating. She broke into college, and we want to inspire all our officials to go as far as you want to go. To us, you're official, no matter what level you're on, and we love to have those high level officials officiate our games when they're available.
Ken, in Alabama, I think one of the things in my lifetime has been a tradition is county tournaments are very competitive in this state. And there's a lot of pride in winning a county championship in virtually all of our counties across the state. So these games tend to be very emotional, very well played. And to have a report in a championship game like this, in a county championship game, to have an outstanding report like this, I know from an officiating standpoint, being in Montgomery, you love to hear reports like this, don't you?
Absolutely. Anytime we get a chance to raise the bar on our expectations and the quality of officials that are on the floor on any given night, especially 3 women the three that was out there, knowing them, knowing their background and how much of a hard worker they care about the game. Just to see them get the opportunity, it brought joy to my heart to see that, and I was really proud to hear the good reports about it.
And Ken, I know a lot of times the coaches and other officials and maybe school administrators, they will recognize a great officiating job. But when the fans out there that are watching the game that may not be as well versed in all the rules and so forth, when they recognize that it was a well officiated game, I think that really speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It does. And I can only imagine being a fly on the wall when they're coming in, two competitive teams, willing to leave it all out on the line, and to see that it was three women officiating the game, I'm sure it caught some people attention. And then once that ball goes up, though, it's basketball. And I'm sure their performance allowed people to focus on the game and not that it was three women out there. I think that was a huge success on their part. And again, I'm very proud of what they done.
Ken, thank
what
you.
They did in the tournament.
Ken, thank you so much for bringing us that positive report on the Jeffco Officials Association doing a great job in that Etowah County basketball tournament this week up in the Gadsden area. Thank you for being with us again this week on the AHSAA Weekly.
John, thanks for having me.
Ken Washington, Assistant Director of Officials for the Alabama High School Athletic Association, with us once again here on the AHSAA Weekly. Back in a moment.
Hot under the collar because your basement is full of water? Call a local company you can trust. Ox Foundation Solutions. We use the most advanced water management system to stop water from invading your basement for good. Things feeling a little uneven at home? Ox Foundation Solutions will fix your uneven concrete sidewalk, driveway, or basement in no time. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
WOTM, your new home for high school sports in Alabama. WOTM has you covered with live coverage of all 7 championship games of the Super 7. WOTM is available to all TV providers in Alabama. If WOTM is not currently a part of your channel lineup, call your provider and request that they add WOTM. WOTM, your exclusive TV home for the AHSAA Super 7 basketball, baseball, and softball championships. All live only on WOTM.
All high school students should have an opportunity to participate in interscholastic athletics. Students can gain so much from participating in extracurricular activities through sport. Not only do they learn sportsmanship, they learn respect, and they learn teamwork. All of these are characteristics that students could carry with them throughout the rest of their lives.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
We're back on the AHSAA Weekly. This time of year, it's cold outside as it has been across the state this week. That means the focus is on indoor sports. One of those indoor sports going on right now, hot and heavy, is bowling. And we're going to talk with one of the top bowling coaches and programs and players in the state of Alabama, Coach Jacqueline Wynn, and one of her top players, Josh Wilson of the Stanhope Elmore bowling team out of Millbrook, Stanhope Elmore High School. And we're glad to have you with us on the AHSAA Weekly this week. Welcome in, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, Coach and Josh, let's start with you, Coach. Stanhope Elmore, both boys and girls, doing very well in the South Regionals. I think your girls advanced to the regional finals, the boys team to the quarterfinals. Really an outstanding performance, and it looks like your team peaking here at the right time as you head to the state bowling championships.
Yes, sir. They're picking up right when you want them to pick up. It's better to finish strong than it is to come out the gate and kind of falter at the end. They're picking up and have stayed true throughout the whole season. So looking forward to seeing what the state final has to offer for them.
Josh, you had a fantastic run in the South Regionals as well. Do you agree with your coach? You think your team is peaking at the right time? Boy, you bowled like a 257, is that right?
Yes, sir. That was in the quarterfinal game. I think we got a good shot at winning it all as long as we just make our spares and keep our composure and don't goof around as much.
Coach, you also, switching over to the girls' side, and we'll talk with Josh a little bit more in just a moment, but you had some outstanding individual performances on the girls' side as well. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. We had 3 girls finish in the top 4. We had Casey Marshall, who finished first, bowling a 665. And then we had the 3 and 4 spot with Megan Best and Alyssa Ward. And we're a relatively young team. We have no seniors. So I've got 3 8th graders that are bowling and a junior and a sophomore. So we're gonna be ready to go, and they're peaking at the right moment, and it's gonna be interesting to see how well they do this weekend.
Coach Wynn, obviously bowling is one of the relatively new sports in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. That means it's pretty new to you and Stanhope Elmore as well. What has bowling meant to the school and your program and the young people that have participated there at Stanhope Elmore?
It's given each person a little different niche. Each one has found their place on the team and just something that they can contribute to the school. And it's our school administration's behind us, Coach Fuller's behind us, who's our principal, and the whole school system is cheering us on and excited to see what our kids can do.
You had some very high scores. I think people would be interested to know bowling practice. I've bowled before. Not anything at this level, but I know that it's like anything else. It takes a lot of practice. Is that something that's really big that you preach to your team?
Yes, sir. We actually just left practice a little bit a while ago when they were still practicing when we left. We usually practice on Tuesday, Thursdays, and they get a lot of work in. We do spare work, and they do traditional games and bakers against each other, and it's fun to watch them compete. Even just the girls, between the girls, and sometimes the guys with the girls. And sometimes we even bring the parents out there and have a little fun and see if the parents can win.
Josh, the AHSAA began bowling as a competitive sport back in 2016, and you've been on board since the very beginning there at Stanhope Elmore High School. Kind of look back and tell us about your career and your thoughts about being on the bowling team with the Mustangs.
Yes, sir. 8th grade was my first year when it started, and we got state runner-up when I bowled a 280 in the opening match. And it's just made me get better as being a team player instead of just going by myself. I won the last three years. I've got first at regionals, placed in the top 7 at the state tournaments and stuff. But it's just I made an accomplishment about a week ago in a match when we played Valley High School. I bowled a 300 a perfect game, got an ovation for that, and it just made me become more of a team person instead of an individual standpoint by myself.
Josh, that is incredible. As most folks may or may not know out there, rolling a perfect game is a pretty rare feat, and congratulations on that accomplishment. Josh, Coach Wynn, congratulations on a great season so far. Best of luck as you head to the state bowling championships.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jacqueline Wynn, the head coach of the Stanhope Elmore boys and girls bowling team. Josh Wilson, one of the outstanding bowlers for the Stanhope Elmore Mustangs. Our guest this week here on the AHSAA Weekly. We'll be back in just a moment.
Don't crack under the pressure of foundation issues. The certified specialists at Ox Foundation Solutions can permanently fix foundation problems at the best price guaranteed. And did you know, moisture and unsafe air from your crawl space can infiltrate your home, causing health hazards and high utility bills. Ox Foundation Solutions has the best plan to keep your home safe. If you are experiencing any issues with your sidewalks, basement, crawl space, or foundation, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Did you know that suicide is the second leading cause of death for ages 10 to 24? It is also one of the leading causes of preventable death in our nation. It is time we all start to talk more about youth suicide and how we can change these statistics. My name is Nick Saban, head football coach at the University of Alabama, and I'm working with the Jason Foundation and the AHSAA to address this serious national health issue. Visit jasonfoundation.com to learn what you can do to help prevent youth suicide.
Students learn sportsmanship from us, our coaches, the administration of the school, the parents. That's how we learn sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is one of the greatest tools that we can give our student athletes. It's respecting the game you're playing. It's respecting your opponent, respecting the field of play. That's what good sportsmanship is, and enjoying the game while you're playing.
As we wrap up this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly, we're right in the heart of basketball season, and we want to take some time to congratulate some legendary coaches across the state of Alabama that reached some really significant milestones this week. We'll begin with congratulations to Francis Marion of Marion boys coach Woody Jackson. His team beat Choctaw County of Butler 48-38 for his 800th win in his 40-year career. He's now ranked 4th all-time in the AHSAA, behind another Perry County legend, Eugene Mason of R.C. Hatch High School in Uniontown with 919 wins. Longtime Parker Birmingham head coach Cap Brown with 891 wins, and former Hayes, Butler, and May Jemison head coach Jack Doss with 812. Also want to tip our hat to Lynette boys coach Richard Carter, now 702 and 234 in a career that has spanned nearly 50 years. His 700th win came 74-33 over Lochapoka back on January 7th. Also, Hillcrest of Tuscaloosa boys coach Scott Suttles captured his 600th win, 52-46 over city rival Central of Tuscaloosa last week. He now has a 601 and 194 career record in 24 seasons. And finally, Spring Garden girls coach Ricky Austin, his Lady Panthers clinched his 600th coaching career with a win in Tallapoosa, Georgia against Haralson County 51-24 in late December. His team is currently 22-2. He is now 609 and 161 in 24 seasons, and counting his boys coaching wins, he has well over 800 for his career. And two players we need to mention this week, Andre Burney of Pike County and Jamie Tyus of McAdory High School. Andre down in Brundage had a career high 49 points, 16 rebounds, 4 block shots, and a 77-74 overtime loss at Eufaula, moving him close to 1,500 points for his career. And then Tyus had 18 points in the 58-43 win over Hueytown, went over 2,000 points for her career. Outstanding accomplishments by those two players and also by those 4 outstanding coaches in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly. We'll see you here next week.
Carol Cox coached at Jess Lanier for 27 years. High school football, loved it, loved every minute of it. Loved the kids, loved the community, loved the city of Bessemer. And I did it because it just got ingrained in me, and I kept doing it. The longer I did it, it seemed like the better we got and the better I got at it, because I had some great assistant coaches to learn from and some college coaches we spent lots of time with. But I don't know, it was, I look back on it and I miss it. And if I had to go back and change something in my life, I would have probably worked even harder than I worked at it, because I was having the best time of my life then and didn't even know about it.